Thank you very much. I'd like to give the floor to President Philipp Markopulos now, who is going to officially open this MEP session.
Thank you very much, President Alexander Unger. I now have the honor to officially declare the 53rd session of the European Parliament open. May I invite now His Excellency, the Ambassador of the Portuguese Republic, Mr. Antonio de Almeida Ribeiro, to speak a few words. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues and friends, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to all. I would like to thank you very much for your kind invitation to address this 53rd international meeting of the Model European Parliament. It's indeed a great honor for me, as well as a great pleasure to address this meaningful event. At the outset, I would like to convey a warm welcome to all participants and express to the organizers and sponsors my gratitude and recognition for the support you all gave to this important initiative. Those who gather in this forum will be part of the future generations of Europe. That's why I think it's so crucial to reaffirm at all levels and in every possible setting that the European project represents a firm and long-standing ideal that each new generation will need to renew and revive, because we all strongly believe that there is no alternative to democracy, respect for human rights and freedom, hand in hand with economic and social development, which are values and objectives that will always be on top of our priorities in Europe, and we believe are also the best model for the whole world. You represent the diversity of our European citizens, as well as the different views and ideas on how society should be organized. But we all have in common the belief in the same fundamental values that define our societies in present times as well as in the generations to come. As I'm sure you know, Portugal joined the then called European Economic Commission in 1986. That is 35 years ago. This happened only a few years after the 1974 revolution that ended a dictatorial regime that lasted more than 40 years in my country, reimposing democracy that all Portuguese claimed and deserved for a long time. The advent of democracy also created the immediate conditions to put an end to our colonial war in Africa, making it possible for the colonies to finally become independent countries. Nowadays, Portugal develops strong and extremely friendly ties with this group of countries, only possible because democracy won over dictatorship. Since our accession to the European institutions, my country changed dramatically in many ways, but I have to say, for the better. We have now the sense that democracy and freedom are an essential part of our lives, but we also know that this requires a daily work and perseverance in order to defend, consolidate, and improve what has already been achieved by our societies and our citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, Portugal holds during the current semester the presidency of the European Council. It happens for the fourth time since our accession to the European Union, but it represents an increasing challenge, especially in these difficult and unexpected times of deep crisis in Europe and in the world. I will now make a brief presentation on the main priorities of the Portuguese presidency. With the motto, "Time to deliver a fair, green and digital recovery," Portugal takes over this presidency with three major priorities for the European Union. One, to promote a recovery leveraged by the climate and digital transitions. Two, to implement the European pillar of social rights of the European Union as a distinctive element for ensuring a fair and inclusive climate and digital transition. 3, to strengthen Europe's autonomy whilst remaining open to the world, taking a leading role in climate action and promoting a digital transformation in the service of people. At a moment when the COVID-19 pandemic poses difficult and significant challenges to the EU, Portugal's presidency will do everything to ensure that these 6 months mark the start of a new cycle in Europe. One of the main priorities is to implement the multi-annual financial framework, MFF 2021-2027, and of the EU Next Generation Instrument, Next Generation EU, which include a series of innovative financial instruments for supporting the upturn in Europe, in particular the Recovery and Resilience Facility. The approval and execution of the national recovery and resilience plans will be another priority. The resilience of the EU also depends on defending its fundamental values. We will accordingly work to defend and consolidate the rule of law, combat all forms of discrimination, promote pluralism in the media, and combat disinformation. A central theme of Portugal's presidency will be to strengthen the European social model so as to transmit sense of confidence to citizens. The aim will be to ensure that the dual climate and digital transition is achieved in an inclusive way without leaving anyone behind, whilst addressing the social dimension of the pandemic. In May, Oporto, a city in the north of Portugal, hosts a social summit, which will be divided into 2 key moments: a high-level conference on 7th May, with broad participation by European institutions, member states, social partners, and civil society, followed on the 8th of May by an informal meeting of European leaders. The aim is to give political momentum to realizing the European pillar of social rights in the life of European citizens, where the central topics will be employment, qualifications, and social protection. Portugal's presidency will support the creation of a European Health Union, which strengthens the capacity to respond to public health crises and to produce and distribute safe vaccines in Europe and beyond. We will contribute to ensuring that the process of vaccination against COVID-19 takes place simultaneously in all member states, and that the vaccine is a universal good, both public and free. In the domain of external action, Portugal's presidency will invest in strengthening multilateralism and affirming the European Union as a global player whose leadership is needed in all areas and topics of the international agenda. One of the highlights in this area will be the informal meeting of European leaders with the Prime Minister of India in order to give momentum to stronger political and economic dialogue. Portugal's presidency will also pay particular attention to neighboring countries, to the European Union's relations with Africa, and also with Latin America. Another priority will be transatlantic relations and a renewed agenda with the new US administration. Enlargement and migration will also be 2 other important topics during the months ahead that we will continue to follow very closely. Lastly, Portugal's will be the first rotating presidency to deal with the United Kingdom's definitive departure from the EU's internal market and customs union. With a provisional agreement now in place on the future relationship between the 2 sides, Portugal's presidency will work to obtain its definitive approval and then its implementation, so that the United Kingdom and the European Union can consolidate a strong partnership in the economic, geopolitical, and security fields. So these are the priorities I would like to transmit to you. I thank you very much for your kind attention. I wish you all the best and a very good work in the coming days. So thank you for the invitation again and wish you all very well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this inspirational speech. It is quite an honor to have you here. May I invite now the chairman of MEP Europe, Herr Professor Oehl, to say a few words. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, Mr. and Mesdames President, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to address the General Assembly. Madam President, Mr. President, Your Excellency, members of the Model European Parliament, venerable teachers, directors and coordinators, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor and privilege to speak to you on behalf of the Model European Parliament Europe Association as their chairman. I would like to thank you, Your Excellency, Ambassador Antonio de Almeida Ribeiro, Ambassador of Portugal to Austria, for your insightful and inspirational words that can only come from someone to whom Europe and European integration is so close at heart. On behalf of MEP Europe, I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to Philipp Markopulos, dual president of the second Digital International MEP session. Great vigor and dedication masterminded the organization of the mammoth task, developing a digital conference concept that meets MEP requirements. This is true of the stalwart we experienced when suddenly in March 2020, 1 year ago, we had to cancel an international session, the first time ever since the MEP was founded in 1995. No MEP ever had been cancelled. When we thought we had an unsurmountable problem, someone was already working on a solution. Thank you, Philip. Your input has shown when others would say, can't do it, let's postpone it, let's cancel it, some won't accept. In fact, what you have done, we see in the history of man and woman. As soon as someone says there is a problem, somebody already has found an answer. When Europe lay in ashes of world wars, the third apocalyptic war looming, brave men and women brought the enemies together, become partners, friends, on the basis of sharing information on the tools that led to the destruction of Europe and the world. A continent and union of peace and wealth has emerged in 80 years, the longest lasting peace period in our history. I would also like to extend my gratitude to members of the presidency and the array of 20 committee presidents from 14 EU countries for their commitment, preparation work, and problem-solving excellence, devising ways of chairing our meetings with no loss of quality. Thank you for bearing with us and helping us fly the European flag. Corona has not stopped you and has not halted us. We're very proud indeed to have succeeded in assembling youth delegates from all over Europe to engage yet again in top-level European political discourse and parliamentarian exercise. Achieving this for over 1/4 of a century is no mean feat. It is exceptional, considering the growing importance of empowering young people to engage in shaping their future this continent and the world. Yet, much still needs to be done. The voice of the youth be heard in the hallways of political decision makers today. We have come together at the most trying time for Europe, where we see destructive, disintegrating forces at work, exploiting a pandemic crisis situation, seriously challenging the European peace and integration project, and threatening the hope and aspirations of further European nations joining the European Union. Members of the Model European Parliament, we have great faith in you delegates, the decision makers of tomorrow, that you will join forces, build bridges, find consensus in your committee work. Don't forget, the smallest compromise is better than none. One small step forward together is better than standstill and regression. Therefore, I am convinced that in the true spirit of solidarity, you will move forward to show the world that Europe has emerged as a force in the world reckoned with, where European values of democracy, liberty, equality, and strength derived from cultural diversity can prevail and will prevail in the world. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. We're now going to watch and listen to videos of speeches from Dr. Ottmar Karas, Vice President of the European Parliament, and Johannes Hahn, EU Commissioner.
Liebe junge Europäerinnen und Europäer, es freut mich, dass ihr in Wien und Klosterneuburg im Rahmen des Model European Parliament zusammenkommt, wieder zusammenkommt, um über die europäische Zukunft, unsere Zukunft, zu diskutieren. Es ist unsere gemeinsame, aber vor allem eure Zukunft. Umso schöner ist es, nicht nur Teilnehmer aus Ost-, Mittel- und Südosteuropa zu begrüßen, sondern auch erstmals Teilnehmer aus allen Westbalkanländern. Ich heiße euch alle herzlich willkommen. Eure Stimmen müssen in Europa verstärkt gehört werden. Ihr sollt euch das europäische Projekt zu eurem Projekt machen. Denn der Westbalkan ist ein wichtiger Teil Europas. Es ist unabkömmlich, eine klare Beitrittsperspektive für alle Staaten der Region bereitzustellen. Die Rolle des Westbalkans für die Europäische Union ist eine Frage der Identität der Europäischen Union. Wir tun das nicht aus Gefallen, sondern weil wir gemeinsame europäische Werte, eine gemeinsame Geschichte, gemeinsame Herausforderungen und gegenseitige Freundschaft auf Dauer in der Region verankern wollen. Demokratie, Freiheit, Gleichheit, Rechtsstaatlichkeit, die Einhaltung der Menschenwürde und der Menschenrechte sowie der Schutz von Minderheiten sind das Fundament von Frieden, Freiheit und Gerechtigkeit und Wohlstand in Europa. Auf dem Weg dorthin gibt es viel zu tun. Unsere Union muss handlungsfähiger, effizienter, demokratischer werden, um neue Mitgliedstaaten aufnehmen zu können. Ja, wir sollten zukunftsfit werden. Für Konflikte zwischen Nachbarn müssen dauerhafte Lösungen gefunden werden und es müssen Reformen konsequent und weitreichend vorangetrieben werden. Wir reichen einander die Hände, beide Hände. Ich hoffe, dass unsere Einladung, am europäischen Friedensprojekt mitzugestalten, angenommen wird, vor allem von der jungen Generation. Es ist großartig, dass ihr in den nächsten Tagen die Herausforderungen der Europäischen Union und des Westbalkans diskutieren werdet. Eure Generation wird ausschlaggebend dafür sein, wie erfolgreich Europa seine Zukunft bewerkstelligen wird und welchen Platz der Westbalkan darin einnimmt und welche Mehrheiten dafür gefunden werden können, bei euch und in der gesamten Europäischen Union. Das ist eine große Verantwortung, aber auch eine wunderbare Herausforderung. Ich wünsche euch dafür und dabei viel Freude in den nächsten Tagen. Scheut es nicht, offen und ehrlich zu diskutieren, aufeinander zuzugehen, voneinander zu lernen, euch kennenzulernen und gemeinsam an kreativen Lösungsansätzen zu arbeiten. Danke für euer Engagement. Danke für euren Beitrag zur Zukunft Europas. Viel Erfolg.
Please.
Dear fellow Europeans, dear students, I'm happy to speak to you today as part of this Model European Parliament. It's great that so many young people have gathered to learn about the European Union. I'm particularly delighted that delegations from the Western Balkan countries are among the participants because it's my firm belief that the reunification of the European continent is only complete once all 6 Western Balkan countries have joined the European Union. This is clearly the leitmotif of my work. But I have to add that the integration process is not a one-way street. It's a process where people have to get acquainted with European standards that are sometimes quite different from traditions, rules or practices of countries. I always compare it with the extension of an apartment house for a new family. There's a certain wish from the co-owner's point of view how this extension should look like. However, there are certain building regulations with which such an extension has to comply with, and there are already house rules that need to be respected. And therefore, such an extension needs some time, not only for the construction works, but also to get to know the different owners of this European house. But the most important step is done. We have managed to get a renewed building permit, admittedly with some conditions attached, but it's now up to us all to press ahead with the works. And in this regard, this Model European Parliament is an important initiative and tool to get a broader understanding what the house rules are, who the house rules sets, and how to change the rules. I always say the problem of Europe is that we still know too little from each other within the European Union. In order to improve the European Union and its role as a global player, we need to understand what the respective challenges within and around Europe are to identify common challenges and common solutions. It's equally important to understand the expectations, the needs and the impediments that we all may face on certain topics in order to raise awareness and acceptance for compromise solutions. It's therefore not a coincidence that our motto in Europe is united in diversity. Whatever the Europe is that you want to live in, it's important that you make your voice heard in the Western Balkans as well as in the upcoming European elections next year in May. In this regard, I wish you a successful event and I count on your contribution and your further engagement.
Thank you very much. Now I'd like to give the floor again to President Philipp Markopulos, who is going to deliver his speech for the opening ceremony.
Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, honorable delegates, and committee presidents, dear participants of the Model European Parliament. Welcome to the 53rd International Model European Parliament session. This 53rd International Model European Parliament session is at the same time our second digital iMEP session. So let me welcome you to the second digital iMEP session as well. Thinking about the last 2 years, I have to say that we have come a long way. 2 years ago, our iMEP and MEP sessions had been something absolutely well known to us. The procedures, the organization, the way we were doing it. Planning and taking part in these events was similar to traveling over land. You have a map. You know exactly how far you can travel every day and which destination you will reach. There's no doubt about reaching the destination, as the map always shows you where you are. Then, last year, we were confronted by the Corona crisis. This was for us like having traveled all the years on land towards the west and suddenly standing in front of the Atlantic. We were shocked because our old style of doing our MEPs did not work anymore. It was like our maps for traveling over land could not help us anymore. We accepted the challenge, thought about it, and created something new, the digital iMEP. It was like building ships and continuing our travel on the sea. But there is a big difference to land travel. On the sea, you have just a compass and you don't exactly know where you are. You're setting your goal, but don't know when you will reach it. You're affected by winds that put you off course. You set a new course, you spent a lot of time and efforts just to cross the sea. We set our course, and after a lot of efforts, we finally made it. We reached our target. We did the first digital iMEP session last year, which was for us similar like making landfall in the West and reaching the new world. The first digital iMEP was an endeavor with risks, and the change itself consumed a lot of energies. Now, with the second digital iMEP, we are back doing business as we were doing before. Using the same metaphor, I would say that we are back to traveling on land. We have now a map again. We know how to plan, organize, and conduct our discussions, although it is now in a fully digital way. So we reinvented ourselves using this wonderful spirit of innovation that has always been characteristic for Europeans. As over several thousands of years, we had always had challenges of all kinds on our continent. We combined our old world with the new world and did not give up. We still continue to uphold our European core values of human dignity, freedom, democracy, equality, the rule of law, and human rights. So now let's concentrate on our main purpose again, to discuss the topics that are a challenge for the European Union and for all of us. From the center of Europe, the beautiful city of Vienna, I invite you together to discuss, inspire, decide, get enlightened, widen your perspective, and have a lot of fun in this 53rd International and at the same time, the second digital European Parliament session. Welcome on board.
We're now moving on to the speeches from the heads of delegations. We're going to proceed in an alphabetic order. So in order to start it all off, I would kindly ask the head of delegation from Austria to deliver his speech.
Honorable Presidency, fellow delegates, committee presidents, distinguished guests. Today, my country has the honor of hosting the 53rd International Session of the Model European Parliament. Despite all of you not being here in person, I tried my best to convey Austrian culture through this speech. From the 13th to the mid-18th century, Austria was ruled by the Habsburgs. Due to its marriage policies and diplomacy, the monarchy played an influential role in Europe until its collapse. One particular quote summarizes Austrian politics at the time quite well. Bela Gerand Ali, to Felix Austria, Nube. The others may lead wars, but you are beautiful Austria, you marry. Music has played a vital part in Austrian culture. Well-known composers such as Mozart, Haydn, Schubert, and Johann Strauss Sr. all hail from Austria. In the 19th and early 20th century, Austria, in particular Vienna, became an intellectual hub of Europe, boasting such names as the writer Stefan Zweig or Joseph Roth, and the founder of psychoanalysis Sigmund Freud, among many others. In 1905, Bertha von Suttner was the first Austrian to win the Peace Nobel Prize. This all, of course, ground to a halt from 1938 to 45 due to the National Socialist regime. After World War II ended and Nazis were defeated, the treacherous task of rebuilding Austrian democracy began. In 1955, Austria joined Finland, Ireland, and Sweden, becoming the fourth neutral European country. Just last year, Austria celebrated the 25th anniversary of its EU accession. Austria is also the seat of numerous international organizations like the UN, IAEA, OSCE, and OPEC. Currently, a new treaty on nuclear disarmament is in the works, with Austrian foreign officers joining together with several NGOs to create a safer European future. Nowadays, Austria still boasts a lot of familiar faces and celebrities internationally, such as Niki Lauda or Arnold Schwarzenegger. Events like the Vienna Opera Ball lure people from all around the globe to come and visit Austria. We look forward to fruitful debate and consensus findings with our fellow Europeans. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. We're now moving on to the next country. Speaking of this, I would kindly ask the head of delegation of the Belgium delegation to deliver his or her speech.
Honorable Presidency, dear Chair, fellow delegates, distinguished ladies, gentlemen, and those who identify otherwise, let me present the Kingdom of Belgium, a smaller country in Western Europe. But did you know that Elio Di Rupo was the first openly gay Prime Minister in Europe, or that French fries are actually Belgian fries? Our capital, Brussels, hosts many headquarters of major international organizations and is one of the founding members of the European Economic Community, which later became the European Union, who played a major role in the unification of Europe. Throughout history, we have shown that different ethnicities and language barriers could be overcome, and we carried this idea through to the European level. Eendracht maakt macht, l'union fait la force, Einigkeit macht stark, or simply translated, unity makes strength, as the Belgian motto goes. Be patient, sometimes you have to go through the worst to get the best. I think that we as a country can really relate to this expression. Just one example of our complicated past is beautifully described by John McCrae. In Flanders fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row. But as you already know, it's a beautiful nature in Flanders fields defined by its past. But we tackled our problems and moved forward. That's the reason we are the nation we are today, and why we will strive for a great MEP experience for everyone.
Thank you. May I ask the head of delegation from the Bulgarian delegation to deliver the speech? I repeat, I kindly ask the head of delegation from the Bulgarian delegation to deliver his or her speech. Okay, the head of delegation from Bulgaria seems to be absent. In this case, we're going to move on to the next country, I'm afraid. May I ask the head of delegation from the Republic of Cyprus to deliver the speech?
Just a moment, please. Sorry. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, fellow delegates, let me travel you to the southern eastern part of Europe, Cyprus, an island of beauty, contrast, and struggle. Silver sands and clear blue waters, coves and caves, high mountains and snow, adventure in lush forests and relaxation in lemon orchards. Nature's aromas urges nature intruders to seize the beauty of the moment. Hospitable villages welcome you for traditional delicacies, while a closed town whistle invites you to the city's vibrant rhythm. Cyprus, however, has been through tremendous turbulences throughout time. Wars, rebellions, and invasions, mostly due to its strategic positions. Assyrians, Egyptians, Persians, but also Arabs, Romans, Byzantines, Franks, and Venetians, as well as Ottomans and British became its rulers. The Cypriots, predominantly Greek in nature, defended their traditions and culture, managing to survive and maintain their identity resembled in their rich cultural heritage. Excellencies, distinguished guests, fellow delegates, Europe these days is called upon to face on unprecedented challenges. Coping with the pandemic and its destructive effects. This strength emerges from all the European values so well put by the MEP presidency, welcoming note. Human dignity, freedom, the rule of law, human rights. Ideals that we Cypriots have been deprived since 1974 when Turkey invaded the island. Mourning, missing people, scorching wreckage are all well nailed in every Cypriot's memory. People became refugees in their own country. The country remains divided to this day. We, the young generation of Europe, should ensure that for Europe to remain united and become even stronger, should wholeheartedly defend its humanist values for all its member countries. Even for my country, Cyprus. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. I've just been informed that the Bulgarian delegate seems to be back. He had some technical difficulties. So head of delegation from Bulgaria, if you're here and your Zoom is working, you may give your speech.
Thank you for the floor, Mr. President. Honorable delegates, committee presidents, and significant guests. My name is Svetoslav Atanasov, and it is a real honor for me to speak in front of you on behalf of the Bulgarian delegation. I wish to all of you a successful session full of constructive debates. I also want to emphasize on how happy I am to see the youth of Europe having this ability to express itself. Our delegation understands very well the importance of freedom, especially freedom of speech, which we should protect at all costs. Despite all the difficult historical periods of slavery and totalitarianism that the Bulgarian people have passed through, culture is what has helped us to preserve ourselves. I cannot express how important for me is this ability for young Bulgarians to have their voices heard in such a prestigious forum. All over our beautiful country can be found remnants of antiquity, from the numerous Thracian tombs to the best preserved Roman theatre of Philippopolis, to the explosive European capital of culture for 2019. Tales of kings and emperors can still be heard in the medieval city of Tarnovo, and we'll never forget the cries of freedom from the Balkan. Bulgarians have also contributed to the center and East European culture by introducing and spreading the Cyrillic alphabet. Great Bulgarians have also contributed greatly to the advancements of science. People like John Atanasov, the inventor of the first digital computer, Angel Balevsky, and Ivan Dimov, with the counter-pressure casting method, which was a novelty in world foundry technology, and many more great researchers and scientists. We are aiming to continue the achievements of our great forefathers of our only Bulgaria. With the serious preparation and justified confidence, the Bulgarian delegation enrolls into the 53rd MEP session with an innovative approach and a hope for a better Europe. Thank you for your attention. Mr. President, the Bulgarian delegation gives up the floor.
Thank you. We now move on to the next country, which is Denmark. I kindly ask the head of delegation from that country to come forward and give their speech.
Yes. Honorable guests, presidency, dear chair, and other distinguished guests. My name is Sarah, and I can proudly present to you the Danish delegation. We come from a very small country in Scandinavia with under 6 million people. Even though our population does no longer consist of pillaging Vikings, we are still curious of the world around us. We acknowledge our need for transnational institutions such as the European Union if we now want a global voice. This is also clearly shown when our voting percentage for the last election of parliament broke our own nation's record and were 18 points above the European average. Even though we value international collaborations, we are still proud of our culture, which include things such as our bicycles, breweries, Lego, and the oldest still ruling monarchy in the world. We can also happily say that Denmark is setting great examples in sustainable research and is home to the biggest windmill manufacturer in the world. I can say with certainty that I and the other Danish delegates are very much looking forward to working with you all, and I know this will be an experience of a lifetime. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We now move on to the speech from the delegates of Finland. I kindly ask you to come forward.
Your Excellencies, Mr. President, and fellow delegates. My name is Tobias Niinko, and I represent our Finnish delegates, all of whom come from 3 schools in the Helsinki metropolitan area. Now, you all probably know Finland as the country of saunas, Santa Claus, and Northern Lights. And even though there is more to Finland than just that, your impression is an undeniably nice one, which is why I'll let you keep it and tell you about the thing that truly matters, the people. As a people, we value genuinity and perseverance above all other virtues. And it is our perseverance that has allowed us to keep our independence under the pressure that our eastern neighbor has given us throughout the history of independent Finland. We take pride in being a very equal country. We were the first country in Europe to give women voting rights and the second in the world. You might have even heard of our young female Prime Minister Sanna Marin, who rose to her current position from a not so well-off LGBT family. We also have a very close relationship with nature, which can be seen in the 7 square kilometers forest in the middle of Helsinki, our capital city and largest city. This relationship is to me a very important part of Finnishness. I wish you all a very successful MEP experience. Thank you.
Thank you. I kindly ask now the French head of delegation to come forward and deliver their speech.
Thank you, Mr. President. So firstly, and on behalf of everyone in the French delegation, I would like to thank all the people that made this session of the Model European Parliament possible. We are honored to be able to take part in such a unique event and hope to actively contribute to making a better future for Europe and its inhabitants. France, in all aspects of its culture, is an exceptionally diverse country. Each region has its specificities, be they gastronomic, architectural, or regarding traditions. This diversity sometimes provokes friendly quarrels on how to correctly call that particular pastry, or on whether it is Brittany or Normandy that offers the best landscapes. But despite these regional differences, which are as many cultural treasures, the French all proudly promote their wine and cheese, fashion icons, and touristic sites such as the Eiffel Tower or the Mont Saint-Michel, which are among the most visited places in Europe and in the world. Overall, France is united around a rich and noble history, as well as fundamental values, and, most important of all, around its football team, which is twice winner of the Football World Cup. Once again, the French delegation sincerely thanks the MEP organization and wishes to make this session a valuable experience for all participants. Thank you.
Thank you. May I ask the German head of delegation to come forward and give their speech?
Yes, thank you for the floor. Distinguished guests, honorable delegates and committee presidents, dear participants of the Model European Parliament, I am Matteo Fons, and as head of the German delegation, I am now going to present to you our home country, Germany. Let me start with some basic facts. Germany has 82.2 million inhabitants and is about 357 square kilometers big. It is subdivided into 16 federal states. The federation and the German states each have their own authorities. Germany is situated in the very middle of Europe and because of that has a shared border with no less than 9 other countries, more than any other member state of the European Union has. Since 2005, our head of government is Chancellor Angela Merkel. Germany's seat of government is in Berlin, our capital city. Speaking of, Germany's most famous site is probably the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin, which you can see right behind me. But that's by far not all there is to see in Germany. For example, next to me, you can see the Saarschleife, a famous site of my home federal state, Saarland. In the name of the whole German delegation, I wish you all a splendid Model European Parliament session with lots of fruitful discussions and great experiences. I look forward to all of us learning a lot, not only about our individual committee issues, but about the value of tackling problems as the European Union. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you. May I ask a head of delegation from Hungary to come forward and deliver their speech?
Thank you for the floor, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, fellow delegates. The current situation resembles the fortune of our alliance with Austria. The rule that we, MEP delegates, are inseparable has fallen, or at least physically. But hopefully, unlike the case of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, this is just an interim period and within a few months or next year, it will be possible to take part in traditional MEPs. In our little country, in our little Central European country, there are several methods to fight against the virus. For example, disinfection by the venom Pálinka alcoholic beverage is useful as well. But several hardships also occurred here. The pubs are closed, which led to public outcry. Moreover, the Hungarian vaccination program is worth mentioning. Besides the fact that with the leadership of a Hungarian woman, Katalin Karikó, who is the senior vice president of BioNTech, they developed the Pfizer vaccine. Hungary ordered several different funds from both East and West. In my point of view, this precisely depicts the strength, neutrality, and independence of our country. The current situation is hard for everyone, this is commonly known. We are fed up with the restrictions and looking forward to get vaccinated, but we should be grateful because despite the hard and critical situation, the MEP sessions are still running in which Hungary proudly takes part. Within this community, of course, it is inevitable to have political, ideological, and cultural arguments, but that's what makes our union a better place. The 27 countries represented by us are united in their diversity. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. I now kindly ask the Italian head of delegation to come forward and deliver their speech.
Good evening, presidents, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. We all remember the EU pioneers who inspired the creation of Europe as we know today. 5 of them were Italian, and they all gave their best in the creation of a united Europe. One of them was Altiero Spinelli, who was exiled in the island of Ventotene in 1941. He cooperated with other political prisoners, in particular with Ernesto Rossi, who wrote the Ventotene Manifesto towards a free and united Europe. Today, the pandemic of COVID-19 is shaking the stability those visionaries had imagined. Italy was the first European country to be hit by the devastating effects of the pandemic of coronavirus. The European Union is taking steps to help all its citizens to come out of this very difficult historical moment wiser and stronger. This is a great opportunity for us to build a safer and better future for us all. The Italian delegation is honored to attend this session because MIP guarantees us all the possibility of being active European citizens. And this is very important, especially now. In conclusion, we want to thank MIP Europe and all the organizers for allowing us to join this session. And thank you all for your attention.
Thank you. May I ask the head of delegation from Latvia to come forward and deliver his or her speech?
Honorable presidents, fellow delegates, teachers, and honorable guests. On behalf of the delegation of Latvia, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to participate in this esteemed event. Latvia is a small country covered with beautiful nature, spanning from endless forests to breathtaking lakes and wide beaches. Nature is well preserved, as is the Art Nouveau and medieval architecture in our capital, Riga. Latvians hold tightly to their culture and continue to celebrate deep-rooted traditions. Every 5 years, there's a song and dance festival in which 43,000 performers and craftspeople gather together from across the country to celebrate these traditions. To give you a better picture of our nation, here are 3 facts about Latvia. Latvia won the Eurovision Song Contest in 2002. The highest point in Latvia is 311 meters, so please watch out in case we demonstrate symptoms of altitude sickness here in Austria. Latvian women are those to look up to, as they are the tallest in the world. Allow me to finish on a serious note, however. It should not be forgotten that Latvia only obtained independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. Nowadays, the nation values its independence very highly. Today, Latvians are proud to be European and enjoy the shared values, freedom of movement, and prosperity that EU membership affords us. As representatives of Latvia, we are honored to celebrate and learn more about the EU through our participation in MEP. We look forward to getting to know all of you over the next few days and wish everyone a wonderful session.
Thank you. I kindly ask the delegate from Lithuania to come forward and give their speech.
Your Excellencies, Mr. President, and fellow delegates. It is a great honor for us to represent Lithuania, who unfortunately could not take part in this conference. Our delegation includes members from 3 high schools in the Helsinki region. Lithuania's capital is Vilnius, whose history starts in the 14th century. It has the most churches per capita in Europe and is a country rich in culture and full of sportsmanship. Lithuania was the first Baltic country to gain independence from the Soviet Union in 1990. It was under the Soviet regime for 46 long years. It is impressive how swiftly Lithuania turned into a true democracy. It joined the European Union as well as NATO in 2004. Continuing on the path of European integration, it joined the Euro in 2015. Lithuania has been actively defending democracy in Europe. For years, opposition politicians and dissidents have fled to Lithuania from Belarus and Russia. In autumn, we saw how, amid their own crisis, Lithuania took to safety the Belarusian opposition presidential candidate. All these actions speak for themselves. Lithuania doesn't give up under pressure. It defends its and the EU's values even in the hardest of times. And as EU citizens and defenders of democracy ourselves, we would like to express our deepest thanks to Lithuania for their actions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. We now ask the head of delegation from Luxembourg to come forwards and deliver his or her speech.
Honorable Presidency, Excellency, dear members, and honorable guests. I'm honored to represent the Luxembourg delegation this year. As you might know, Luxembourg is one of the smallest countries, and this is also why you probably never find us on a map. The most important facts about Luxembourg are already known, such as our importance in the creation of the EU, as well as the Schengen Treaty, us housing the European Court of Justice, among others, and the fact that we are the only Grand Duchy in the world. So I would like to share some lesser known facts about ourselves. 48% of our population comes from other countries than Luxembourg. Luckily, all children learn Luxembourgish as of the age of 4. So our integration works really well. Even in our delegation, we have many different backgrounds, such as people from Germany, France, the UK, and Italy. In the unlikely event that you do not like Luxembourg, leaving doesn't take a lot of time. From the city of Luxembourg, for example, it would only take you 30 minutes to be in Germany, Belgium, or France. That's also why we are really aware of how important open borders are. At the peak of the corona crisis, we were one of the few countries that did not close their borders. We, as a small country, are dependent on our neighbors. Our healthcare system wouldn't work without commuters, and our economy would crash without them too. For many people, those borders might be something normal, something that they take for granted, but for us, they are essential. Without them, nothing would work anymore. We are really excited to participate in this year's iMEP and are curious about what everyone else has to share.
Thank you very much. We now move on to the Maltese delegation. May I ask the head of delegation from Malta to come forwards and give his or her speech?
Thank you, Mr. President. Honorable Presidency, dear Committee Presidents, fellow delegates, and distinguished guests. In the name of the Maltese delegation, I would like to thank you all for giving us this incredible opportunity of taking part in the 53rd session of the Model European Parliament, Digital Edition. Malta is a relatively small nation with just under 500,000 people, but its people never fail to amaze, not only locally, but also on a European level, with our MEPs making us proud at every turn. The Maltese Islands are home to beautiful beaches, an exceptional countryside, and a unique cultural history. I believe that this delegation is representative of all Malta has to offer, not just because we come from all corners of the island, but also because each of us brings a different perspective, which is vital in a discussion to create a better today and tomorrow. In conclusion, I'd like to thank everyone who made this session possible, because it is simulations like these that pave the way for youth to become more active and inspire us to, at the end of the day, participate in our great democracy. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. We now move on to the Dutch delegation. I kindly ask the head of delegation from the Netherlands to come forwards and deliver their speech.
Dear President, fellow delegates, distinguished guests, and others in the Zoom meeting. Nederland, de Nederlanden, Beba, the Netherlands. Our beautiful country has a different name in every language, so I would like to present the Netherlands to you in different ways. The Netherlands is its cities and places. It is Amsterdam, where Dutch culture mixes with cultures from all around the globe. It is our tourist attractions with tulip fields and windmills that show traditional Dutch cultures. It is even our cities like Renesse, a place where beautiful beaches and partying are tied together. The Netherlands is its traditions. It has many Christian holidays we still celebrate because we like our days off, even though it is estimated that the majority of the population does not confine to any religion. The Netherlands is gezelligheid, a word that describes the feeling of having an afternoon in with your family, the feeling of being loved, or just hanging out with your friends. The Netherlands is biking culture. Noting the fact that with 17 million people and 22.8 million bikes, we literally have more bikes than people. Even our prime minister goes to important meetings by bike. The Netherlands is its people. The Dutch are resilient, tall, love speaking their mind, and have been making cheese since the year 800 before Christ. And last, but definitely not least, the Netherlands is Europe. The European Union has more differences than just a different name for the Netherlands, but it is those differences that unite us and make us so much stronger together. That is why I'm not proud to just call myself Dutch, but also a European. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May I now ask the head of delegation from Poland to come forward and give the speech.
Thank you for the floor, Mr. President. Honorable Presidency, distinguished guests, fellow delegates, ladies and gentlemen. When one thinks of Poland, they always believe that Poland has remained in the Middle Ages. Well, they are surely and gravely mistaken. If one looks past the carefully crafted stereotypes, one would find a country of great beauty and vibrance. Over the last 3 decades, Poland has become one of the most successful economies in Europe. Since 1989, Poland has increased its GDP per capita by almost 150%. Poland has shown such significant economic improvement despite only having formally adopted democracy in 1989 after being liberated from being a satellite state of the Soviet Union. Its rich history can be observed within its many cultural and historical sites. First up is the royal castle in the country's capital of Warsaw. Between the 16th and 18th century, the castle was used by the Polish royal family. It was once an opulent building, however the castle was destroyed in World War II and has since been reconstructed. It sits in a beautiful location, right at the entrance of Warsaw's Old Town. Another one, perhaps being a more peculiar one, are the Mieszka salt mines, as they house 4 chapels carved out of the rock-salt walls of the mine. Should any of you ever be unsure of what European country to travel to, make sure to pay Poland a long visit. Poland is waiting for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We now move on to the Romanian delegation. May I ask the head of delegation to come forward?
Thank you for the word, Mr. President. Dear Presidency, Excellencies, members of the Model European Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Many of you probably expect me to babble about our geographical position and historical facts, but I'm here to tell you that we stopped living in the past and we are cheerfully battling with the present. Being an Eastern European country was never easy. Making yourself heard in a big world was a hard move for us. Although every minute you work for your achievements and going through ups and downs, as a Romanian quote says, cine se scoală de dimineață departe ajunge, who wakes up early, it's reaching far. This represents the essential aspect of who we are as people. We are hardworking. When we get a task, we offer 100% of what we can. We know our worth, so never underestimate a Romanian. As you may know, we are very popular for having a Dracula in our history, so we learn from the best. Also, Romanians are seeing the good in everything. That's probably one of the reasons why everyone thinks we are crazy, but actually we are creating our own path and we don't let anyone take us down. We are welcoming everyone with open arms. We are probably the only ones that are saying yes to every challenge. And we are not afraid to say, I'm Romanian when someone asks us, where are you from? Despite the social stigma about Romania, we learn from our mistakes the hard way. We have more green zones as each day passes, and our infrastructure is growing. We are an European country, and slow but steady progress is progress. Thank you all, and on behalf of the Romanian delegation, we wish you all a great session.
Thank you. We move on to the Slovakian delegation now. May I ask the head of delegation to come forward?
Dear ladies and gentlemen, the past year has brought numerous challenges for every one of us. Throughout the European Union, we witness a spectrum of stances towards the impending crisis. The virus took its toll on lives, healthcare systems, the global economy, politicians themselves, but ordinary people face identical impact. Millions of people had to rethink their daily existence. Entire enterprises had to adjust to distance working methods, and teachers took some advice from their students and started using online teaching methods, for example, Google Meet or Zoom. Particularly in Slovakia, it was not uncommon for teachers to receive last-minute absence requests because students had to attend the mandatory COVID testing. However, as we say in Slovakia, one time we have a global pandemic, next time we have a nation full of tech-savvy, adaptable individuals who can withstand anything that is projected at them. We can only currently hope that now is the last time the expression coronavirus makes us quiver in fear. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. We now move on to the next country, which is Slovenia. I think that the Slovenian delegation has prepared a video, which we're going to watch now.
Peers, friends of European Union, respected guests. My name is Sasha Spiegel, and it's my honor to greet you all at this unique version of modern European Parliament gathering. I'm proud to be speaking on behalf of Slovenian delegation. Slovenia is a small country that is situated in the extreme north of Mediterranean Europe. It neighbors Italy, Hungary, Croatia, and Austria. Regardless its size, our country is very unique, and it's a place where you can observe two completely different cultures with just 1 or 2 hour drive apart. Slovenia has a very diverse landscape. Potentially, you can experience alpine world, seaside, and Pannonian plain. You can visit many gorges of River Socha, beautiful mountains, and many other spots in International Park Triglav. You can also visit Koper, Piran, and quite famous Lake Bled. A lot of recognition for Slovenia was given by former First Lady Melania Trump, who, as you know, grew up in Slovenia. A quite known household name is also Luka Doncic, who is now a famous basketball player. He grew up in Slovenia and built his career by playing for one of our basketball teams. We also have many successful ski jumpers and skiers. One of them was Tina Maze. Two of our famous desserts are potica and prekmurska gibanica. Foreigners may also know us for being a part of former country Yugoslavia. But our current president is Borut Pahor, at least until next elections that will take place next year in May. We also have 8 delegates in European Parliament. Part of European Union are also young people with voices and opinions. And this gathering is a great opportunity to express them and give our perspective on the issues. Perspectives of younger generations are often different, unique, and hopefully sometimes eye-opening and helpful. At the end, I wish you all an enjoyable and informational experience. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. I now kindly ask the Spanish head of delegation to come forward.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm sorry, you got me checking the roaming for a trip I have coming up. Did you know that roaming is a service provided by the European Union? Yes, but more than just being able to upload a publication abroad, the European Union offers us peace and security. In fact, it won a Nobel Peace Prize. It also offers a single market based on freedom of labor, money, sales, and services, strict control of food and the environment, and human rights. Nevertheless, the European Union has gone through many ups and downs and has faced thousands of setbacks, such as the current one with the pandemic. Although it has been able to resist up to now, its creation is far behind us and its renewal is already under discussion. However, we propose something else, listening to the youth. Because it is the youth which breaks inertia, innovates, takes risks, fails and can take risks again, that has the resilient power that Europe needs. Without youth, there is no future. Women's rights and gender equality, employment and social affairs, culture and education, security and defense, human rights, international trade, civil liberties, development. Is that all? On behalf of the Spanish delegation, I say, we are ready. And we invite you all, apart from eating a paella on one of our lovely beaches, and whether you are from Italy, Lithuania, Romania, Poland, or any other country, to undertake this project. We may be 20% of the population, but we are 100% of the future. Hashtag MedVirus, hashtag We Are Europe, and post.
Thank you very much for your speech. We now move on to the Swedish delegation. May I ask the head of delegation to come forward?
Dear Presidents, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests and fellow delegates of the European Parliament. On behalf of the Swedish delegation, I would like to express how privileged we feel to be part of MEP. Sweden is a place with a rich history, spanning from the stories of Viking conquests all over the world, to mass emigration, to our rapid modern social development. Although I could go on about our history, I would like to turn the attention to what our country has to offer Europe and the world in today's society. We're a country that loves innovation, which is why we're the birthplace of Spotify, Skype, the pacemaker, Bluetooth, and even the zipper, and why the handing out of the Nobel Prize is one of our nation's greatest prides. We're a country that loves music, and despite our wee 10 million inhabitants, about the size of London, we're home to several of the world's most successful music producers of all time. In true Scandinavian spirit, we're a country that takes pride in being egalitarian and are one of the most gender equal countries in Europe and the world. Lastly, we're a country that believes in international cooperation as the driving force of sustainable development and the creation of a world we are happy to hand to our grandchildren. That is why we are beyond thrilled to share this experience with you, because we truly believe that we can achieve great things through unity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We now move on to Serbia. May I ask the Serbian head of the delegation to come forward?
Your Excellency, dear President, fellow delegates, distinguished guests, good evening to everyone. I'm here as the head of delegation of Serbia, and my name is Tara Tešić. This conference is being held online today due to coronavirus, but have we ever actually wondered how we got the opportunity to switch our entire lives online today? If we go back a couple of centuries in Serbia, we would have the opportunity to meet many Serbian scientists who have contributed to the current development of telephony with their patents. Only some of them are Mihailo Pupin, who patented the invention that made long-distance telephones call possible, Nikola Tesla, who contributed to the development of many technologies, including smartphones and computers. You may have heard of Tesla cars, which are named after him. Serbian companies are still dealing with technology today, like Strawberry Energy, which invented solar street charger and smart furniture. Just as plum brandy or šljivovica is a recognizable drink for Serbia, so is Vesper Martini for James Bond. Well, believe it or not, the main inspiration behind this iconic double agent is based on Serbian spy Duško Popov. It is much clearer why iconic agent adored having fun so much. By many portals, Serbia was chosen as the country with the best nightlife in the world. We invite you to visit as soon as it's safe. As well as the whole world, Serbia did its best in the fight against the coronavirus and is currently the leading country in Europe in the number of vaccinated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Last but not least, I kindly ask the head of the UK delegation to come forward.
Dear President, Your Excellency, and committee delegates, my name is Theo, and I'm proud to represent the only former member of the EU, the European Kingdom. Though our recent departure from the European Union has been a big departure, we hope it does not overshadow our country's long shared history of cooperation with Europe, ranging from our medieval trade links to our entrance into the European Union in 1973. Is this cooperation we wish to continue, sharing our peoples, cultures, and solidarity of Europe, a solidarity which is much needed in our current times of crisis. Our country is made up of, our nation is made up of 4 countries: English, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. We all have many notable sites ranging from Ben Nevis in Scotland, our tallest mountain, to the Windsor Palace, the home of our royal family. It is this wide-ranging geographical diversity and diversity of peoples which make us proud to be European. And with this, I wish you all, well, a good model parliament.
Thank you. We now move on to a piece of classic music, the Sommernachtskonzert from the Wiener Philharmoniker. Thank you very much. So regarding the further procedure of the Model European Parliaments, I kindly ask all of the delegates who had some technical difficulties regarding the login on Microsoft Teams to stay in this call so we can try to sort it out. All the other delegates and CPs, it was a pleasure to be with you here during the opening ceremony. And I kindly asked you to go to Microsoft Teams into your channels with your committees and start the first committee meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Philip, it's the two of us who are going to add the members to Microsoft Teams, the ones that had some difficulties. Do you agree if we just ask the delegates to write their name, their committee, and their email address into the group chat so we can add them to Microsoft Teams?
Yes, should there be a specific problem regarding Teams, such as issues with joining the organization, you can also raise your hand or just speak right now.
Okay, so I will just repeat it so it's clear for everybody. All the delegates who were not able to log into Microsoft Teams so far, please send a message into the chat on in the Zoom conference now, including your name, your committee, and your email address so we can add you to Microsoft Teams and to your respective committees. Perfect, we're receiving the first messages.
Could you please also include your email address?
I wasn't here for like basically the first like half an hour and I didn't get to like join anything. So should I stay here as well or?
No, you can move to your committee right now.
Well, that's the point. I'm not in any Microsoft Teams committee or anything
Okay,
like
if you're
that.
not in MS Teams, then please stay here and write your email and your name into the chat so that we can add you right away. Okay, great. Are there any specific technical problems regarding Teams? Okay, I take this as a no. I believe that Herr Professor Oehl will now talk to the coordinators. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Herr Professor Oehl, I believe that you're muted.
Okay, may I kindly ask the teachers, directors, coordinators who yesterday had a problem with MS Teams also to stay behind to get that sorted. And if you didn't have a problem accessing MS Teams, I ask you to leave the call and I will see you at a quarter to 8, 7:45 Central European, 6:45 GMT, 8:45 Eastern European time in the coordinators channel for a welcome meeting and a glass of refreshments. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
In response to the coordinators for Malta and Sweden, I believe we will add you as soon as we have sorted all the delegates into their respective committees. We apologize for the inconvenience though.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, all of you should have been added to their proper channels now. If you check your emails, you should have gotten or received an invitation for Microsoft Teams.
Should there still be any other problems, you can speak up now.
I already entered the app, but I don't know how to go anywhere like in the app.
I'm sorry to interrupt. What would be your name?
Denise Reigosa.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, great. I just added you, so I believe that you should be able to see the AFET committee now.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Dennis, I'm your committee president. I'm gonna send you my number in the private chat right now. And maybe if you just contact me there so I can help you out if you have further problems. So just
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I have received the email, but I don't know why when I enter in the Teams, I can't see anything.
May I ask who's speaking? What is your name?
Maria Montalbán.
Maria, you're from which committee?
Inter.
Inter, okay, 1 second.
I think it's problem of Teams. I mean, I don't think it's your problem.
Alex, I think we have some issues regarding Azure. So we'll check that out right now and come back to the call. Is that all right?
Okay.
Okay, Maria, I just talked to Philip. He's going to be back in a second. I re-added you to the entire Teams. Could you maybe retry joining it? Thank you.
Okay, so I have a different issue, but this may be just me being blind or something. So I am already in the Teams and it looks quite okay, but I'm not in any committee. I have just DG iMEP Austria 2021, and that's it. And
I see. May I ask who's speaking?
Slovakia, Maciej Sova.
Slovakia.
And what would be the problem, Slovakia?
I just said like I'm already in the Teams, but I'm not in the committee itself.
What would be your committee?
DEVE.
I'm sorry, but
DV.
Dave.
Okay, Dave. Okay, Dave.
Thank you very much. Okay, I will add you right away. Matej. So okay.
The pronunciation is acceptable.
Sorry. Okay, I think you should be in the David committee right now.
Okay, I'm there already. Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. Are there any other delegates or CPs who have problems regarding Teams? If so, please speak up now.
Yes, I haven't been able to enter the Teams yet.
So are you already in the Teams organization, or did you get an invite code? No,
not yet. No.
Not yet. Okay, Alex, could you maybe add the delegate from Belgium to the organization?
Of course, 1 second.
Great, thank you.
Yes, I will re-add you.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other delegates who have some technical problems?
I can't neither.
I'm sorry?
I can't neither enter to Teams.
Who's that?
Maria Montalva from Spain.
Okay, thank you very much. So, did you get an invite code for the Teams?
Yes.
Probably not. Okay, and did you already sign into the Teams?
Yes, because I use Teams in the school and I already
Oh, yes,
have
yes. I believe that I know your problem. Could you maybe try to log out of your current Teams? So you're probably using the desktop application, I believe. If so, please try to log out of your current account, so your current profile, and then try to log in with the European Parliament account. That should work.
Okay, I'll try it.
Okay, thank you very much. Should there still be a problem, please contact me or rejoin the Zoom meeting.
Thank you.
No problem.
Olivia,
are there any other delegates?
One second, I'm sorry to interrupt, Philip. Olivia from NV Belgium, I just checked on Microsoft Teams. It says that you have been invited. So maybe check your email address, the one that you sent to the chat with the O dots van der Marlier. I'm sorry about the pronunciation, but try to check that email. You should have received an invitation.
Yes, I'm gonna look again, but I'm gonna see. But normally I didn't get it. But I'll.
Okay, because you have.
Please also check your spam folder. And please also check your spam folder. Maybe the email is in there.
Yes, it was my spam. I'm sorry.
No problem. Are there any other delegates encountering some issues regarding Teams?
The MEP coordinator from Malta had also some trouble logging into Teams. I also checked your email address, and it seems like you've been added to the Teams already. So maybe also check your spam folder. You might have received an invitation there.
So I'm in Teams, but what I'm not is I'm just seeing 3 channels, and again I received the emails from you. So
okay.
I'm in
which channels do you see?
I'm seeing the general, the announcements, and MEP Cafe.
MEP Cafe. Okay, I will add you to the MEP coordinators channel.
Yes.
This is the one that you need to be in.
Okay.
Are there any other delegates encountering some issues regarding Teams?
Yes, you've been added. So
okay. So and then eventually for tomorrow, because it would be interesting for me to visit the committees. Would you be possible to add me tomorrow?
To all the committees? Yeah, we'll do.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
And one last thing. I know it's and is there going to be a committee room for the country delegation?
Unfortunately, not on Teams, as we're not able to create so many channels.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. So, thanks a lot.
But there is actually an alternative. You could create a chat with your delegates. Yes. So with your delegation on Teams, because there isn't a chat option, and you can actually create a group there.
Okay. Cool. Thanks a lot, guys.
Excuse me. Can I just come in here? Wouldn't it be possible to have because we did in the last session, have a channel for each country, Philip? Remember the Austrian delegation had a room, and so we could return.
Yes, the problem is right now that we have a lot of countries. I believe about 26 or something. So we are only able to provide a maximum of 30 channels in Teams.
Okay.
And since we're already using up a lot of space for the channels,
okay.
But we could try to establish a new Teams and add the channels there, but maybe the chat option
No. Let's not be complicated. We'll get interference. I think your idea of creating, well, your own call in a chat, or maybe Simon, if you wanted to use WhatsApp, and if you have your delegates in a WhatsApp group,
it's no problem.
Yeah,
no, but what Philipp suggested, it works just fine. So
okay.
So that's brilliant. I agree with what he said, because the more channels you have, the
yeah. Now we will actually need another 12 channels for the delegation meetings. So it is true we're going to clog up our team's account. So I don't even know whether we'll manage that, but you know, that's not until Saturday. Okay, thank you. Just heard this conversation. I'm going to leave you to it.
Thank you. Okay.
So guys, I will leave you. I will check if I sort it out. If I don't, I will get back to you tomorrow. Thanks. Have a nice evening and well done for your work.
Perfect. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.
One question. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think it's my email. Can I send you another email, a different one, and we try if with that one I can enter?
Maybe did you check the email that you wrote into the chat here in the conference? Is there any spelling mistake?
No, because I received the email.
You received the email. What happens when you click on it, on the invitation link?
That it's like it entered to the Teams, but I don't know. It's like the Teams close it, and I cannot see what you. Do you understand me? I mean, it's so like I can see the email and I click, but once I enter to the Teams, nothing appears me.
Oh yeah, I think that you haven't been added to the committees probably. Am I right? So you are able to see the team's organization as a whole, but you aren't able to interact in any channels.
No, I mean, I can't see anything. I can neither see the iMEP organization or something like that.
Okay, could you please try to log out of your account and log in again? Maybe there's some interference regarding your school account. Are you using MS Teams for school?
Yes, I do.
Okay, then please try to log out of it and log in again. If that shouldn't work, you can either rejoin the Zoom call or contact us via email. I hope that helps.
I'll try it again.
Great, thank you.
Excuse me, I am the Spanish teacher. My name is Agatha, and I haven't received the Teams also.
Okay, Alex, could you please invite the coordinator from Malta?
No, Spain.
Spain, of course.
Spain.
Oh, Spain, sorry.
May I ask you to send your email address and your name into the chat? You can also send it to me directly, so nobody can see it. It's just I need the name and your email address to add you to Microsoft Teams.
I did actually.
I already changed. No?
Yeah, no, I already forwarded this to you twice today. Anyway.
I'm sorry, but I received over 30 emails from you in the past 2 days. It's a bit difficult to keep the overlook.
I can hear you.
Agatha, if you like, I can enter your email address and I'll do it for you. Okay?
Oh, okay, in Teams, because I can see the Teams.
Not in Teams. There's a chat at the bottom of the Zoom screen. Next to share screen, there is a chat button.
Okay, I will put there my mail.
Yeah.
In the chat.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I will do it just right now. You're already done.
Okay, I
Great,
think
thank you.
it works now.
Well
Perfect.
done.
Thank you, and sorry.
No problem.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh, okay. I see right now the invitation.
Great.
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello.
Sorry, Herr Professor Öl. Can you hear us?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, I'm in two. Wait a minute.
Yes, I believe that you're in 2 meetings at the moment. Okay, are there still any other technical problems regarding Teams? I think we still have 3 or 4 people in the call. Lucas, Wernick?
Yes.
I believe that you do not have any technical problems, right?
More or less, but I haven't been added to the committees yet. So.
Oh, yes, we will do that.
I'll take care of it. It's fine.
Yes, we will do that after this meeting. You can actually leave the call now. Almeida, I'm sorry for the pronunciation. Oh, sorry. Okay. Olivia van der Marley from Belgium. Do you still have any technical issues regarding Teams? I take this as a no. Yes, I believe that we're finished here, Alex. Great. You're the host actually.
1 second. No,
can...
I think Olivia's trying to say something, but her microphone is turned off.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Olivia, can you hear us?
Could you please turn on your microphone?
Philip, can I leave the call? Can you?
Yes, of course. You can leave the call.
Okay, I don't even know how to do it now. Wait a bit. Where is it? Okay, bye bye.
Great. Thank you.
Got it.
Okay, Olivia, do you have any problems still regarding Teams? Okay, I take this as a no. Alex, I think that we could actually
I'm
end this
sorry,
meeting.
I still have a problem. I've finally been able to go into Teams, but I have not been added to Envy. I've only been added to the overall meeting.
Okay. Alex, could you please add Olivia to the Envy committee if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, but you can see the channels, general announcements, and MEP Cafe. Is that right?
I think so. Right?
You're on mute. I think.
Can you hear me? Olivia,
I'm sorry.
I'm not on mute right now. Anyways.
Wait, Alex, anyways, could you add her to the committee right now?
Yeah, I'll add her. 1 second.
She probably has some connectivity issues. Okay, I think that should be all right now.
Just stay here for a second so we have added her as well. Okay, retry it. Should be working now. We added you. Yep, you're added. Is it working?
No, I'm still just in the, I think I only have access to iMEP Austria 2021 and then Model European Parliament and Map Cafe, but I can't see my committee.
That is odd because I added you multiple times now. One question, your email address, the O dot, is that correct? Is that part of your email address?
Yes, that is my email address. And the weird thing is, I think it's the same email address as my school, so I can only access it via Google my Teams. Like otherwise, I don't know what's going on. I can't do. I'm kind of afraid to leave the site, but I can just see like the big. I think it's the one where everyone's together.
Yeah, I see. Philip, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, thing is, I tried adding Olivia to Envy, and normally when you re-add the person, you know that it says you have added this person already.
Yes.
I don't have that with her email address. I can add her like 50 times probably.
Okay, okay, that's weird. Wait, I will check on that right now.
Okay, thanks.
So the committee would be, I'm sorry, Olivia, what would be your committee again?
Envy.
Envy, okay. Okay, we'll try it. Okay, I can see that you are in the channel. Did we add you with 2 different emails? Okay,
I'm not
yeah,
sure
okay,
because
I found the problem, I fixed it. I think we added you with 2 different emails. You should be in the Teams right now. Is it true? I hope so. I can see that you're online, so I think it worked out.
It worked. Thank you so much.
Great.
I'm sorry.
Great to hear that. No problem.
Finally, we got it. Okay, so just join your
Yes, we
committee.
could help you.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a nice evening.
You too.
Thank you. Okay, so now we have one more person in here. We have Almeida Ribeiro Antonio.
This would be the ambassador. I believe that he's not in a meeting anymore.
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay, I guess
So,
they'll come have a house in
I guess that we can actually end this meeting right now.
Yes, we do. Just one thing.
Ja, Alex, da ist niemand mehr drin. Alex, da ist echt niemand mehr drin. Du kannst Deutsch reden.
Ja, aber kannst du das mit dem Judas rausschneiden vielleicht?
Was?
Ah,
oh mein Gott, dieser eine Teil. Ja, aber der Chat, was hat er da gemacht?
Ja, er hat seinen Bildschirm gezeigt. Kannst du es nur bitte löschen aus der Aufnahme? Das ist wichtig.
Ich kann es ja nicht löschen. Im Ernst, entweder lösche ich die ganze Aufnahme oder nichts. Weil ich habe das schon probiert bei der Livia, glaub mir. Da habe ich echt das probiert, aber das ging nicht, sonst hätte ich das ja auch gelassen.
Die Frage ist aber, wenn du die Aufnahme hast, die speicherst du ja ab am Computer, oder?
Ja.
Kannst du eine Aufnahme nicht einfach...
Nein, ist es nicht, ist es eben nicht, es ist in der Cloud gespeichert. Warte, Alex, eine Frage.
Ja?
Kennst du ein österreichisches Produkt, that is subject to a tariff, a quota and a subsidy?
Nein.
Shit.
Wieso?
Nein, ich muss irgendwas schreiben. Ich finde aber auch nichts.
Du, willst du nicht langsam in die Committees reinschauen, noch kurz Hallo sagen, weil ich werde dann langsam mich für Englisch vorbereiten. Ich habe morgen Schularbeit.
Oh, du lernst für Englisch? Was ist denn
ja,
das?
Ein bisschen. Wir haben Textsorten, die geprüft werden. Wir haben 2 Aufsätze jeweils.
Okay.
Nur das.
Okay. Ja, ich habe morgen auch Test, das heißt, ich werde dann auch gehen. Ich muss noch etwas schnell abgeben. Ich muss dann bis 24 Uhr auch noch 1, 2 Sachen schreiben.
So ist
das ist ein Punktewert leider. Also das ist eine VE, da muss ich durchgehend was machen. Aber ich werde trotzdem dann noch versuchen dabei zu sein, okay?
Okay, also wir sehen uns bei Teams, okay?
Also willst du morgen Nachmittag was machen? Freitag?
Ja, kannst gerne herkommen.
Passt, safe, machen wir.
Perfekt, passt. Ciao.
Soll ich für Samstag noch was mitbringen? Weil ich hätte hier ein paar Sachen.
Schreibe ich dann noch, okay?
Gut, ciao. Du kannst das Meeting für alle enden gleich. Ciao.
Danke.